What is going on, everybody? Today, super excited. I've been waiting to do this for a while. I got Paul Bowen with me today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How's it going?
Super good, man. Paul Bowen has a channel here on YouTube. He's talking about hair systems, making good content. And he's also on Instagram. This dude, I mean, he's about hair systems. He's about so many more things. This guy is like an Elon Musk in the making, I can tell you. I mean, you race motorcycles, you make like pies, but like meat pies and stuff like that. Yeah. You talk about hair systems. You've done a million things. You are the most interesting man in the world.
Jack of all trades, mate. Master or none.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've heard some may say that you are a master hunter, or potentially, as some may say, a master baiter.
Yeah.
You bait.
Yeah. Big one of them.
Yeah. And now the YouTube is gonna flag this video for the content, right? Okay. No, anyways, man, so good to talk with you today. I want to jump right into your experiences. First, just tell us, briefly a little bit about your hair loss journey. How'd you get here?
Basically, mate, I started younger. So like even 16, 17, like leaving school, people would be like, is your hair going back? It was like, I was getting like what was known as the widow's peak.
Yeah.
So again, like you had the few mixtape, but I'm like, no, I'm 16, 17, I'm far too young. Do you know what I mean? Like, you crazy. And then it went further and further, and it didn't really stop me in my tracks until, it was funny, like, a very similar story to we've talked before, is I had a girlfriend at the time, I got dumped, and immediately I thought, it's because I'm losing my hair. And then slowly but surely, it's just a really long spiral down. So I'd say 21 was the hardest hit. Really like clinging on. I was trying to regain, tried that for 3 months, it did nothing. If anything, I just went worse. Because I'm very blonde as well, it was like any kind of light, it was just like, ooh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you had the glowing holy light around your head.
Yeah, so, do you know what I mean? And as I got older, it got worse. At 22, my mate shaved my head, and I was like, right, yeah, I'm good now. I'm a bald. I'm shaved. I'm arse.
I'm a bald.
Yeah, I'm bald. You know what I mean? And you just rock it, and then like I would go on a date, and then I'd forget all about it, and then I'd be single for a while, and then I'd be like, why am I single for a while? And then it was just like a constant circle of, oh, I'm single, is it my hair? Oh, I've got a girlfriend, no, I'm not bothered. Oh, I'm sick, you know what I mean? And but the gap got bigger every time. The gap got bigger, my confidence got worse. And I kept on looking at hair transplants and coming into that, and then coming back out of it, coming back into it. It was constant. It was so from basically 21, and there was one specific night, which I'll call my tipping point, whereas I went to go to a girl, asked her if she wanted a drink, got a drink, went to get a number, and she just said, nah, I don't date bald people.
Oof.
Brutal as that, mate. And at that point, I just booked, and I booked for her consultation. And at that time, I didn't know about her systems. Kind of seen a little bit, but I wasn't sold, or I didn't know what they were called. Do you know what I mean? I kind of thought it was a bit fake, or you know what I mean? Because this is going back 27, so like 4 years. So very quiet at that point, I thought. And I went in for my consultation, and the guy said, he's like, what you come here for? I was like, teeth whitening. What do you think I've come here for? And he looked at my hair. He's like, Paul, you've lost way too much hair for a hair transplant. You know what I mean? He says the only thing for you, he called it at the time a non-surgical hairpiece. And I know a lot of people hate this word, but at the time I was like, what? An effing wig? Like I was offended at the fact that he'd suggested it to me. Because I was like, because in my head, I'm just thinking of the old boy with his, 50p hairpiece. Oh, it was terrible. But then he said, I've got one on. And mate, I could not hand him my money quick enough.
Wow. Because you didn't know, obviously, that he was wearing one.
I'd sat chatting to this guy, 20 minutes, didn't know. And then, boom, mate, it just,
Yeah, it's... It's flooring, man. I mean, back then the world was a different place, especially like, you know, the perspective of it. Like it's still incredibly early. Still tons of stigma. Still people don't know. It's a very, very small community, but 4 years ago was much, much smaller.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, that's a really crappy experience. So let me summarize. You left school, you left school, the hair left your head. Sorry, I thought of that one like halfway through and I was like, I gotta just say it, even if it's out of context. And then you spent a lot of time in your 20s dealing with like putting all of the trauma, all of the things that you were dealing with in your life and blaming it on your hair loss, which is totally can relate to. If everyone wants to hear like more of my story that I've never shared before, go check it out on Paul's channel. I just basically divulged all my secrets and how I murdered people. And here you are, you know, so you've been at this for 4 years.
Yeah, so literally, basically, the start of the journey was, at the time I still wasn't convinced. And I used to do a lot of Snapchatting, and I thought, I'm going to Snapchat my experience of getting this hair system. Because if this guy does me over, I'm just going to show everyone. Do you know what I mean? I was going in to this room thinking, he's took me, I think it was 700 quid. I thought he's took this money and he's gonna do me, and I'm not letting anyone get done, and this is what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? I still thought it was a con. I thought it's gonna be a dear experience, this, for a laugh. And mate, it just went completely the opposite. You know, I did my video, it just went like, everyone on Snapchat was just like, it's nuts. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. The positivity I got on Instagram straight away, do you know what I mean? The DMs, and it just went up and up, and like I say, and then I got it on Lab Bible, that went just crazy. Do you know what I mean? I got 1,000 messages in an hour of just lads like, how do I get this done? But really, because of everything going on, and it was like living the limelight, I should have done what I'm doing now, then. And I always feel guilty, and then so it's took me 4 years finally to go, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. So when I get a question, rather than me typing it out, I'll be like, here man, go and take 10 minutes, go and watch this. Which is why I try and keep my videos short, because I just try and be like, here's this, here's that, do you know what I mean? Because there's so many questions about it.
So many questions, and all that content needs to be made, man. So it's, So, okay. To everybody watching this, now you know we're dealing with a celebrity, and your celebrity does not stop there. You have been on a dating show.
Yeah, man, yeah. So, in my quest for love,
I'm sorry,
Tinder just wasn't quite cutting it.
There's only so many ladies, and you know, obviously, so, you're just killing the game. So
I constantly get tagged in, like, do you know a friend that's been single and stuff like that? And I always kept my love life kind of like in the public eye. You know, always going on a few dates and letting people know the highs and the lows, mainly lows, of getting rejected. However, the dates were a lot higher after. And so, I applied for the first dates. They rung me up straight away, literally interview. They really liked the story, obviously, with the hair system, because there's just no one about that's publicly gonna say it. And I think they used it really as again, to sort of get it out there as a you know, they are good people. They're not there to take the mick. And I think, again, you watch the show, and anyone that hadn't seen me or hadn't heard of me didn't have a clue until I told them on the date, like, look, I'm wearing a hair system. And even the girl on the date, she was like, you are? Do you know what I mean? She couldn't process it. You know, definitely go and check that bit out, and just know for yourself that, you know, when people, I think, are very worried about the hair system or how it looks, in real life terms, you just can't tell. You just can't. Yeah. You can't tell.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. That's just so cool, all of that story, and that's a super unique experience that probably, dang, I want to be on a dating show. That just sounds fun. I got a girlfriend though. That's another story, and we're fine.
Yeah,
and if she, we love you. But that's just a crazy experience, and that's super fun and cool, man. And you're totally accurate. You know, I went to go see my friend who's a barber today, and we're actually going to be making some content, but he hasn't seen me in a year. And I walked up to his door. He's like, dude, you got it done? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you went to Turkey and got a hair transplant? You look great. I'm like, right. But like, you know, I let him like do his thing, and he was just like checking out my hair and like inspecting me like I was like an ape, and like he was like cleaning the bugs out and stuff. And he's like, dude, this looks so good, like the transplant's so good. I was like, well, actually, man, I did this thing. And I, you know, showed him a video, and he's like, oh my god, I've heard about these. He's like, this looks amazing. He's like, I could not tell. You know, so we're hypercritical inside of this community. But
I remember the first day I got it, or the second day I got it done. So I go to the bank, and as you do every week in, week out, same kind of cashiers. And I walked up to the cashier, and obviously I've told lots of people that I'm getting it done, but obviously, you know, you don't tell you about, oh, by the way, next week when I come in, don't be alarmed. I went in, she just looked at me and just went, have you dyed your hair?
Yeah.
Because she just could not process it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've literally gone from like bald to full, and that was a response.
So she couldn't believe that you had, well, she thought you had your hair dyed.
Yeah, she just literally thought like I'd come in one day and just had my hair dyed, like, because they just can't process it because it looks too real. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people, they can't work out what you've had done. They know it's not a wig because you can tell a wig. You can't tell a hair system. So if you have it done properly, do you know what I mean? It'll confuse people, and I think the best thing for them to do is just not say anything. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like, you know, oh, do you know what I mean? They can't, you can't process.
It's totally an option. I mean, like, you know, there are people that I have not told, and it's not because I'm trying to keep a secret, but I'm just like, like, whatever. But like people in my gym, you know, I go to CrossFit gym, people, like, they know your name, your face, and, you know, you have some more interaction than a regular gym. And first time I came in with it, you know, I use a little covert method. Like I had a backwards hat on, like some hair that was kind of coming down for a couple of days. But like first day I walked in, one of the coaches, his name was Jeff, he looked at me, he goes, he's like, did you get a haircut? And I was like, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did get a haircut, and more than just one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, I think if you go from bald to having like hair, you know, people that are in your immediate circumference are gonna know, but the majority of people are not going to.
No.
And yeah, so you are an interesting person that I don't get to talk to very often. We're both into extreme sports. You dirt bike, and I'm sure you do other things as well. It's a lifestyle, and it's like it's a way of being. I think that there's correlations, but do you think that you've seen any correlation between like the extreme sports mindset and how you approach problems and things like this inside of your life?
Oh mate, definitely. Do you know what I mean? Because it kind of hinders me, but like, you know, when I come to do a jump, I either do it or I don't, and most of the time I want to do that jump. So you've got to take it out. So when you make a decision, like I'm like, right, I'm committed to that decision, I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? And I would say, even with business, with everything, I think the more you dither, the worse it is. And I think the more you commit, you know, obviously take some time. Don't just, I want you to weigh up the situations. Like when I'm on my bike, I'm like the speed, the wind, the ramp, everything like that. You know, people around me, take all that in and then do it. Do you know what I mean? But don't be like, oh well, I'll come back tomorrow and then I'll draw a map and then I'll write it down and then I'll go and speak to my auntie this, and you know what I mean? You've got to make decisions in life just to be like, boom. So
that's great. I mean, this is a unique perspective and experience that I think a lot of my viewers haven't heard, and I love just to hear all of the things that you've gone through. So getting it into some of the stuff specifically for my viewers, you have a unique perspective. Is there anything that you've learned along your journey that you really want to share with them? And that can be on the psychological side, like the mind game of all this stuff, or like tips and tricks. Is there anything that's just sticking out to you that you want them to know?
Yeah, so I think obviously for me, I have like a don't care. I think what holds you back is other people. So it's like, I'm very out there, as you know. Do you know what I mean? I'm not into, do you know what I mean, getting everything absolutely perfect. What I want you to do is just be well in yourself and have the confidence just to get it done. So really for me, it's just getting your confidence just to go, you know what, I'm doing it for me. Don't care about anyone else. Get it done yourself. And then from there as well, I think the only thing I struggle with psychologically is like, you know what I mean, checking it, is it all right? And I think if you can just go ahead and go, look sick, do you know what I mean? You will go so much further and be so much more happier as a person. Do you know what I mean? I can't tell you, like, you've told me and I've spoke to so many people, pre-hair system days is some of the darkest days. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, man killing, eating you up. That eats you up so bad. Like, I can't even tell you, like, the amount of times I've looked in a mirror pre-hair days and gone, and sighing at the mirror. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're just getting worse. And then, you know, it just, when you get it done, it just feels like you're gone, why didn't I do this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? You know, what was it that took me so long to get it? Do you know what I mean? It's just the best thing to, my advice is just, if you are even watching this now and you're contemplating it, that's the time, because you're already thinking about it. If you're watching me or Jake right now and you are losing your hair and you are researching and you've watched 4 of Jake's videos, you've watched a couple of mine, you've watched Kurt, you are ready. Go and get it done. That is, you know what I mean? If you've researched it enough, that's the time then.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was hoping that you would say, because there's so many correlations. Like you said, it's not just hair systems and like adrenaline sports and extreme sports, but it's in every facet of life. And you know, as we're developing as men, because don't get it wrong, like, this isn't about, you're watching this probably because you're interested in hair systems and you're interested in getting one or you have one, but this is a personal development thing. This is becoming a better man, and anything from this that you're dealing with, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you are waving or moving around, being blown about by the winds and of other people's opinions and what's going on in your life, and you can't make a decision, that's going to affect everything. It's going to affect your relationships, your professional life. It's going to affect every possible thing that you can imagine. And there's something spiritual about making this decision. I sound like a snake oil salesman, but it's true. There's something really powerful and spiritual about making a decision, not having full clarity, but you've researched, you've done enough education, not having full clarity, but still charging forward and knowing that you're going to make your way through. It's an incredibly confidence boosting thing, and it's just, it's a rite of passage. I'm fully convinced this is a rite of passage for you to being a better man. It doesn't make logical sense, but rite of passages never have. Going out for a boy to kill a lion in the wilderness has never made sense, that somehow he's going to come back and be magically endowed to be a man. But it's the experience. There's something spiritual that we have to go through in order to become better men, and this can be one of those events. So Paul, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you as a celebrity for joining us. No, I'm joking.
5 minutes live.
Yeah, exactly. But no, thank you so much for spending the time with me today. You know, we recorded a video here. Go over to Paul's channel, see more of my experience over there, things that I've never shared on this channel and may never share on this channel. And let's just, you know, thank him in the compliments for spending the time over in the UK. It's nighttime. He should be sleeping, but instead he's talking with us. So, Paul, thank you so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell below to stay notified every time you do. It helps get the content to people who had never seen it. They're just getting exposed. That's how we destigmatize hair loss, and we will see you soon.